Okay. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well tonight. Let me get a few things taken care of here, and we will start this live stream. I hope it's been a good week for everybody. I think it'll work better if I can close down a few other applications. So I haven't done one of these for a little while, and uh, kind of the format, it's really an open-ended format. It's just for you, if you've got specific questions you want to ask me about my experience in NP school. If you have something specific you want to talk about, we can talk about really just anything related to NP school. I'm certainly going to give you this from my perspective as someone who is as somebody who is in school. I'm almost finished with school, actually, and I'm just going to give you my perspective on things. It's not definitive guide to NP school by any stretch of the imagination. It's just what I have experienced, and if there's anything I can do to help you or to share some of that with you, I certainly want to do that. There is a chat that you can use in this live stream if you want to ask a question about anything. If you want to make a comment about anything, you can certainly do that. So that chat is open. I can see those things as they come up, and we'll either respond to them in the chat or I'll respond to them here on the video as well. So again, just ask whatever questions you've got. If you've got any, if nobody has any questions, that's fine. We'll wrap it up early, I guess. A few things I thought I would do, though, is just kind of update you on where I am with everything. A couple of weeks ago, I did kind of a week in the life kind of video that gave you a snapshot of what my week looked like right now. It hasn't changed a whole lot since that video. During that, when I was making that video, I had that big comprehensive exam that I was trying to complete, and that finally finished. I finally got that finished and got the grade I needed to get, so I don't have to take it again this semester. Unfortunately, not everybody was as successful, and they're going to have to take it again as well, but I didn't have to. So go ahead and ask any question you've got, or if you've got a thought about anything, that's fine. You can just put it right there in the chat. So I am right now, as we're doing this live stream, I am about 62 days away from graduating from my PMHNP program. And, there's a lot of emotions involved in that. And I was talking to somebody today and said that, I have a little bit of a mixed emotions about it, for a couple of reasons. One is, life is going to change pretty dramatically for me when I graduate. I went through an RN to BSN program, and within just a couple of months, I went from that program right into the master's program, my nurse practitioner program. So I didn't have a lot of time to catch my breath. So I've been in some type of school experience now for at least 3.5 years. And all of that's going to come crashing to an end in about 62 days. And life is going to be very different. So I've really been trying to think about how different it's going to be to not have some kind of assignment hanging over my head and worrying about what's coming next, and now really focusing on applying this. And that's where kind of another emotion comes in as I'm approaching graduation. And that is, I don't want this to sound like a cliche, but it's getting real. I mean, it's really going to be happening here. I'm going to be making clinical decisions for patients that I don't have a preceptor to fall back on yet. I mean, I will have, certainly resources to consult and to talk to, but it's going to be all up to me. So a few emotions about that as well. So it's kind of interesting. The other thing I'm working on right now is my capstone project. Again, I talked about that a little bit in the video I made a couple of weeks ago. The capstone project is equivalent to a master's thesis in a master's program. In my program, we have to design a research project. And it's a legitimate research project. Now, the only difference is we are not going to execute it. We're not actually going to do the research, but we have to fill out the paperwork with the International Review Board because we're using human subjects in it. I have to write a full-blown manuscript for what the research study is, and that's, introducing it, talking about the literature review that I did. I had to review a minimum of 6 similar research papers and write about that. I have to do a explanation of the methodology that I'm going to use, including the analysis and the statistical analysis that will be involved in the findings. I have to write about what my expected findings are as it relates to similar research projects. And actually, I just finished writing that piece of it yesterday. So the next piece is what's the discussion portion of the research project, and then combine all that into a manuscript, and there's a grade for that. That's one whole class here in my last semester, is just getting that capstone. It's called a capstone project, just getting that done. So I have been working on that quite a bit, and in addition to that, in my clinical class, not only do I have clinical hours that I have to complete, not only do I have clinical encounters that I have to complete, I also have several journal entries about specific subjects. There's 5 subjects that we're talking about in these journals, and I have to write a journal. I have to write a paper, actually, which is in APA format. I have to write a paper about diversity. I have to write a paper about interprofessional collaboration, about technology, about ethics, and there's one other subject I can't remember off the top of my head what that is. And they're about 4 or 5 page papers. They are spread out through the semester. But what I'm doing is, in between clinical hours, I am working ahead and getting all the writing done. So hopefully in the next week and a half, I will have all the writing assignments for this semester out of the way. And then I can just focus on 3 things. Focus on 3 things. First, I'm going to focus on getting through my clinical rotations. I've about halfway through that now. I'm more than halfway through the required hours for this semester. I've still got more patient encounters to do, and I'm on track to get that done. I'm not worried about getting that done. The second thing I'm working on is I'm studying for my board exam. I've started that process. That probably won't be until the end of September, or the end of December, or the end of January before I can do that exam. But I'm studying now. I want to get it done as quickly after I graduate as possible, because that's, I've got to get licensed in order to be able to work as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. The third thing I'm doing is I am doing job searching. And yes, it's still 62 days away until I graduate, but I have been encouraged by many people to go ahead and start looking now. And I've probably had more than half a dozen conversations about the kinds of jobs that are available here in my community, and even have looking at some relocation opportunities. Have a call on Monday to talk about that. So in this live stream, again, if you've got a question you want to ask about PMHNP school, NP school, again, coming from my experience and my perspective, go ahead and put the question in the chat box. Happy to answer it in any way that I can, or be helpful in any way that I can. So we're talking about kind of what's going on. The job search actually has been pretty interesting. One of the reasons, if you look back in my catalog of videos that I've created, one of them is about why I chose to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And the job market had a lot to do with that. I really wanted to be able to have an opportunity. In my area, we're very saturated with family nurse practitioners. And psychiatric nurse practitioners are in much higher demand, and they make more money. So that was part of the reason I went into that. And I'm finding good reception in my job search. people are very companies are very interested in talking to me. Some of them have said, let's reconnect in another month, and that makes sense because there's still a little ways to go before I'm finished with the program. But I've been very encouraged by how receptive companies have been, even at this early stage. So that's kind of the things I'm focused on right now: the capstone project, getting my clinical rotations completed, um, and the job search, and studying for boards. I'm using the Fitzgerald system. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but that's the program I'm using. All right, so I've been rambling here for a few minutes. If anybody's got a question here, certainly put it in the chat box. I'm happy to answer it. If not, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here in just a moment. One of the questions I get often is about preceptors, and I've done several videos on how you can find preceptors, particularly using LinkedIn as a resource for preceptors. You might want to check that out if that's a concern of yours as well. All right. Well, I know Friday night's not the greatest night to jump onto a live stream. It was the only night really this week I had available, and I did want to get this out for everybody. So if there are no questions, then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Please, if you're interested in some of the resources that I use, some of the ones that I've created that I use in my NP school studies, in the description of this video, there is a link for you to join our community. When you, no cost or anything, when you join the community, you have access to all of those resources that I've created, my own personal cheat sheets, soap notes, and just things that I have found over the last 2.5 years that have made NP school a whole lot better and a whole lot easier. So check that out if you want to. Of course, if you are interested in what I'm doing, please consider subscribing to the video. Certainly like it. If you can click that thumbs up button, that helps get this out to other NP students that might be interested in this content as well. All right. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to head and wrap it up. I hope you have a good Friday night, and we'll see you again in the next video. Thanks.